as all eyes tonight are going to be on the national championship game between the LSU Tigers and the Clemson Tigers, I'm going to let you know who Bills fans should be watching as potential draft picks for our Buffalo Bills. Welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe. Welcome to this player profile edition of Billievers Talk, where we take a look at the game tonight, national championship game between the LSU Tigers and the Clemson Tigers, and I give Bills fans a few names to look at as it comes to the Buffalo Bills drafting this coming April. Who are players of interest for the Buffalo Bills, or at least who should be, and also are these players that could be drafted at the number 22 position where the Bills draft this coming April. Again, guys, welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and support the channel simply by hitting that thumbs up button, right? Hit that thumbs up button, like this video, helps me know that you're enjoying the content, and also lets other Bills fans know that there is content out there for them to listen to regarding tonight's game, national championship game between the LSU Tigers and the Clemson Tigers. Also, if you're new and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, guys, not only do I keep you up to date on our Buffalo Bills, but I keep you up to date on all Buffalo sports, whether it be the Sabres, the Bandits, the Buttes, the Bisons, the Buffalo Bulls. I try to keep you up to date not only here on YouTube but also on Twitter. So in the subscription or on the in the description below, you want to make sure you follow me on Twitter, as well as I continue to try to keep you up to date. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. After you hit that subscribe button, you want to make sure you hit that notification bell, notifies you whenever we put out new Buffalo sports content. But what we want to talk about today is the game tonight, the national championship game, national stage on ESPN and the ESPN family of networks. Guys, there's going to be a lot of talent on that field, a lot of talent that's going to hear their names called in April during the NFL draft. When we watch the game tonight between the LSU Tigers and the Clemson Tigers, there's going to be a lot of great players making great plays. And I want to let you guys know who you should be watching out for tonight. What are the names that Bills fans should be watching out for that fit the Buffalo Bills draft needs? We all know about Joe Burrow. We all know about some of the great linebackers playing in this game, but those are not exactly positions of need for the Buffalo Bills. So which players should Bills fans be watching out for? That's what I'm going to let you know in this video. Before I do that, I want to go over my idea of what the Bills needs are. I think a lot of Bills fans have the same group of needs for the Buffalo Bills that they'd like to see us address either in the draft or in free agency, but I think we all have that in a different order, and depending on order of importance, that depends how much you should be looking at these guys as potential number one first round draft picks. So my order might be a little bit different. I've seen a lot of Bills fans say that wide receiver is that number one important position. However, I disagree with that. If you remember last season, talking about Coach McDermott saying that there is no such thing as a number one at wide receiver, and maybe not that there's no such thing, but you don't need a number one wide receiver to win in the NFL. So that's why I went over after guys like John Brown and Cole Beasley. Remember, John Brown did get over 1,000 yards during the season. First Bills wide receiver to go over 1,000 yards since Sammy Watkins did in 2015. So I'm not saying we don't need a wide receiver. I have that third on my board as far as positions of need. I'm just saying there are two positions that I would put above that wide receiver position, and that starts off with the offensive line. Guys, I know that last offseason we addressed a lot of our offensive line needs. We got a lot of good offensive line depth, and we also got a lot of new players on that starting offensive line. Remember, we had 4 out of 5 offensive linemen new as far as starters go on the Buffalo Bills. Only Deion Dawkins, this guy that stayed there from last season. So when you look at that offensive line, I do believe that we addressed that last season. However, I also believe that it can still get better. Again, you talk about the depth. We did good there. You talk about some of the starters like Mitch Morse did really well. I think Cody Ford continued to show that he can improve at that tackle position. But who knows what's going to happen with Deion Dawkins? We also know that Ty Nsekhe, Quentin Spain, and LeAdrian Waddle are all sitting there ready to become free agents when the league year starts on March 18th. So we know that that could become an issue. That depth might become an issue. So when we look at offensive line, more importantly for me, when we look at that offensive guard position, that's a very important position of need for the Buffalo Bills. And I think that's my number one draft need when we go into the NFL draft, depending, of course, on who the Bills re-sign and what they plan to do in free agency. My second position of need for the Buffalo Bills is going to be that edge rusher, right? We talked about most of the season how the Buffalo Bills had issues getting to the quarterback. Remember that second Patriots game, we had no answer. We had no way to get to Tom Brady, and they just picked us apart on offense. Probably one of the best offensive games for the Patriots, which is funny because that followed one of the worst offensive games for the Patriots in that first meeting between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. So funny how that happened, but still the Buffalo Bills could not get to Tom Brady, and that continued to be an issue through games this season. Obviously, it was not an issue in the AFC wildcard playoff game between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. I believe we got to Deshaun Watson 6 or 7 times, including 3 sacks from Jerry Hughes. And Jerry Hughes, although he played well in that game, I feel like was a disappointment for most of the season. So when you look at the edge rusher for the Buffalo Bills, I think that would be my second position of need for this Bills team. And then, like I said, my third position of need is that wide receiver, a possible tall wide receiver that the Bills could get maybe in the second, maybe in the third round, and become a big playmaker for Josh Allen. There are a couple wide receivers in tonight's game that are going to be important to watch as they continue to move up draft boards. Guys, the wide receiver position is just immensely has talent this year, as it might go down as one of the best wide receiver draft classes of all time. The Bills want to get in on that. I'm not saying they don't, but do you want to do that in the first round? There are a couple of first-round wide receivers in this game that you should be watching out for tonight if you don't already know their names. I'm going to let you know that in a second. Then you go down the list of potential needs. I think tight ends a need. Neither of the tight ends in tonight's game are coming out into the NFL draft this season, so you don't really need to watch the tight end position. I think we do need a running back to complement Devin Singletary, so I'll give you a name to watch in tonight's game. And other positions of need that I think are important that might not be shown in tonight's game. Let me know what you think the Buffalo Bills positions of needs are, and let me know the order that you have it in down in the comment section. Again, I know a lot of people have wide receiver as our number one, but with the Buffalo Bills history, recent history with Coach McDermott, and the way we skipped on some of the big name wide receivers last season, I'm not sure that our front office staff and our coaching staff feel that it's as crucial, as critical as some Bills fans do. So let's keep that in mind as we go through these names of players to watch. And we're going to start with my first name to watch. And my first name to watch in this game is going to be edge rusher K'Lavon Chaisson of LSU. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name 100% correctly. I'm sure you guys, especially you, John Patrick, will correct me in the comment section. But when we look at K'Lavon Chaisson in the 2018 NFL season for LSU, Chaisson suffered an ACL tear, missed most, if not all, of the 2018 NFL season, his sophomore season, after a pretty decent freshman year in which he played in 9 games, showing what he could do as a 4-star recruit. So we go into this season really not sure what to expect with that ACL tear. How will he come back? Well, he responds pretty well, and that includes 6.5 sacks this season. And if you remember watching the Buffalo Bills this past season, we were led in sacks by a defensive tackle. Jordan Phillips had a great season, but 6.5 sacks would have been second on this team if he was going to be on this team this past year. That's the type of pressure that we need to consistently get on these quarterbacks, so that way they're forced to make tough decisions and a lot of times bad decisions, and possibly force some turnovers in our secondary. We know how good our secondary can be. We just now need to get some edge rushers to get some pressure on that quarterback. So my first player to watch is LSU edge rusher K'Lavon Chaisson. Again, not only did he have 6.5 sacks this year, he also had 13.5 tackles for a loss, which was second in the SEC. You know, about 2 pass deflections, which means you know how he can get his hands up and create some havoc in the passing game, and also a forced fumble this season. He is going to be my first guy to watch this tonight in the national championship game. My second guy to watch is going to be offensive guard for Clemson, John Simpson. Again, I told you guys my first position need in my estimation is going to be that offensive guard position. You look at John Simpson, he's a big guy, 6'4", 330 pounds, a lot of strength, right? Can match a defensive tackle's strength and push him back. And that becomes huge when you're talking about a Buffalo Bills team that needs to be a run-first type offense. And you want to talk about good things for a run-first type offense. How about getting to the second and even third levels, creating lanes for the running back. That's something that John Simpson can do. So that is why I'm going to be watching offensive guard for Clemson, John Simpson, during this game tonight. And again, guys, like I said, a lot of offensive talent and defensive talent in this game tonight. So when you're watching it, not only are you watching guys that I'm listing here, you're watching the guys that they're playing against and knowing that they're 4-star recruits. So if John Simpson can line up at offensive guard and really bully around some of these LSU defensive linemen, you know that he is something to look at as far as the NFL draft come April. Then we get into those wide receivers, right? We talked a little bit about those wide receivers in the beginning. Let's talk about those names right now. First on my list, we're talking about Justin Jefferson, wide receiver from LSU. There are a lot of great receivers coming out in this NFL draft. I think Justin Jefferson might be one of the better ones coming out. Again, you look at those LSU wide receivers, always doing well, or not always, but most of the time doing well in the NFL. You look at Landry, you look at Odell Beckham for some recent examples, DJ Chark doing pretty well as some recent LSU examples of wide receivers that come out and do well in the NFL. So if you're looking at wide receivers in the first round, this is a good one to look at. You're talking about Jefferson being 6'3", which would make him the tallest wide receiver on the Buffalo Bills team as soon as he's drafted. One thing a lot of Bills fans were upset about most of the season, including myself, was the lack of size at the wide receiver position. That's why a lot of people wanted to put Duke Williams on the team the whole season, because he did add a little bit of size where the Buffalo Bills didn't have any. But if you add a guy like Justin Jefferson, you get that size. You're talking about a guy who had over 100 catches this season, and he also had 18 touchdowns for the LSU Tigers. So you know that he can use that body to get those jump balls, to be a good red zone target. Again, talking about 18 TDs this season. Pretty impressive. And then you go to the Clemson side of the ball. Clemson has a wide receiver as well that teams need to be looking out for when it comes to the NFL draft, and that's going to be T. Higgins. Again, T. Higgins, if we were to draft him, would automatically become the tallest wide receiver on the Buffalo Bills roster, sitting at 6'4". So you have to watch him tonight and see what he does. T. Higgins averaged almost 20 yards per catch this season, so you know he has big play capabilities. And when you talk about big play capabilities, you want that type of receiver to go with Josh Allen. Talk about that arm that Josh Allen has. While he might not even be able to overthrow a guy like T. Higgins, if he gets the chance to, opens up the field a little bit more for the Buffalo Bills. Big play capabilities, something that the Bills were missing a little bit of this past season in their pass attack. So this would be huge. Get a 6'4" guy who can really open up the field a little bit and able to get downfield. Talking about a guy that, again, averaging almost 20 yards a carry, over 1,100 yards this season, and 13 touchdowns for the Clemson Tigers. So those are the two wide receivers you really want to watch out for in this game tonight, the national championship game. So make sure you're looking out for them. A few other guys that I have some interest in going into this game. Again, a lot of future NFL talent in this game tonight. So you want to watch a lot of these guys. But some of the guys that I'm really going to look out for, some Buffalo Bills fans believe that we need a number 2 corner, someone to line up against Levi Wallace and really be another shutdown corner for this team, improving our secondary. So if you're thinking that we could use a number 2 corner, a guy you should be looking out for is Christian Fulton from LSU. And Clemson has another guy, another cornerback you could be looking out for in AJ Terrell. Both guys really good this season, and they're both going to be lining up against the best LSU wide receivers, which would include Justin Jefferson and T. Higgins. So when you're looking at cornerbacks, you might want to look up who's lining up against these top wide receivers and see how well they do tonight, and maybe we could pick up one of these guys to match up with Tre'Davious White. If you're thinking that the Buffalo Bills could use a number 2 running back, get that 1-2 punch going with Devin Singletary, I got a guy for you there as well. That's LSU's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back coming into the NFL draft, declaring. Look to see how well he does this today against the Clemson Tigers defense. Again, the Clemson Tigers defense that is the best in college football. So see how he does today. A little bit of a bigger guy, so he might make a good 1-2 punch. Not that great against the pass rush, though, so that's something you really want to be looking out for tonight. But again, those are some of the guys that I'm really looking forward to watching tonight. Again, let me know in the comment section, who are you looking forward to watching tonight? What are some players, as Bills fans, you're saying, hey, watch out for this guy, and maybe not even in the first or second round. Who are some late round steals from these teams that you might be able to get in the 5th, in the 6th round, where we have a majority of our draft picks that might be able to make a difference for this Buffalo Bills team. Again, let me know in the comment section. Hit that thumbs up button just to let me know that you like this content and to let other Bills fans know that there is a video out there, content out there for them to watch. Again, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and after you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Guys, I hope you all enjoy the game tonight. It's going to be a great game. LSU, Clemson. Clemson won the national championship last year. LSU has looked dominant with Joe Burrow, and it's going to be a fun game to watch. But these are some names, if you're a Bills fan, that you really want to be looking out for. So I hope you guys enjoy the game tonight. Make sure you join me tomorrow as I will post another video about our Buffalo Bills. I look forward to seeing you all then. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.